how do you bring real life incidents in order to make your webinar virtual training very engaging? First thing to understand is that when you're doing a virtual session, you are not in isolation. The mind is not in a separate world or a classroom. When you're in virtual presentation, you are actually an extension of real world. To give you an example, I usually end up with this before starting a webinar or a virtual training. I inject ahead of time a small tiny video, like for example during COVID time. I inject a small video of 40 seconds and the employee will say, hey, you sent me here, I'm lost, I want to go home to take care of my kid, but you sent me for an assignment, I'm stranded, I don't have a flight, help me. You sent me here, help me please. 30 seconds clip of the video, and then you ask the participants ahead of time, what would you do as a leader? What would you do as HR? Is it your responsibility or HR responsibility? So what I'm doing here is to encapsulate a few minutes of interaction before the webinar and to bring that interaction after their discussion online, to bring it into the webinar as a staging point for interaction. So the trick and the idea is not to solely depend on your presence for an hour of a webinar and have an engagement. That's a tall order, right? That's a very challenging stuff to do. That like you come up the show and you jump and show the people how engaging you are. No, what you can do is to bring in real life, bring in real challenges outside of the webinar, but a real, so that people can interact in your session. Engagement is not dancing around all over the place. It is to make sure that people are talking about what matters to them.